usual, is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And also by Craig International, a truly global company with 10 offices strategically placed around the world. The future of global procurement is right here. These were the full-time scenes yesterday from Pittodrie. My thanks to Steve McCarty from my sponsor Craig International for taking these shots for me. The togetherness, the will, the desire and the never give up attitude got the boys over the line. It was a fantastic and a sense of deja vu 3-2 victory against Hearts. Palaversa with his first goal for the Dons, winning it on 88 minutes. Keskinen and Nicky Devlin with the other goals. Please accept my apologies for the slight issue with the first goal scorer there. So it means, quite simply, we continue our roll. 7 from 7, 21 points, level pegging at the top. The only difference is the goal difference. It's 13 from 13 since the start of the season. Hi everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Monday night. Hello. How good was that again? Oh my lord. Yesterday I was travelling back from Manchester with the boys, had a long weekend in Manchester. So we left Frankfurt when it was half time. And I must admit, I was a wee bit nervous because I did not think that we played well at all. I even tried to sign up to Wi-Fi on the aeroplane. It didn't work. Of course it didn't work. So as we descended into Salzburg, I got a little bit naughty and turned the phone on and was able to get a signal and literally watched the last 5 minutes of injury time. So we missed the winning goal, but we were able to catch the last 5 minutes. The cheer that went up from the middle of the aeroplane, trust me, turned a few heads on that trip home to Salzburg yesterday. Just fantastic. I thought after the substitutions were made that we started to really settle into the game. Up until then, oh my God, I thought we were dreadful. I have to be honest, I thought we were dreadful. And we cannot play like that against Celtic because we'll get absolutely gubbed. And that's not me putting a dampener on things, that's just me being an absolute realist and being very transparent about the situation. But take all that aside, what I love about this football team at the moment is the fact that there is, and there appears to be, a never say die attitude. That they keep going right up to the final whistle. The hunger is still there. The desire to win the football match is still there. And as we've said on more than one occasion on this show, that was not in evidence in the past few years. And it is now the big difference. And it is a joy to watch. It really is. I watched the second half earlier today. And there was just a sense that it was coming. I just felt, you could just feel it, that it was coming. I don't know what you guys felt like if you were actually in the stadium. But I just felt because we were on the ball, we were getting forward, we were bringing players into play. We were trying to make the openings, that I just felt something was going to happen. And it's just absolutely bloody fantastic. It really is. It's so good and it's so encouraging. And it's nothing more than what the boys deserve. I was so chuffed to see Duke come on. You know, I've given him a hard time and he deserved a hard time. And fair play to the boy. And I was delighted with his contribution. And that is the Duke that we all fell in love with. Or as they called him on Sky Sports News last night, Duck. Just a bit of research, please, guys. I loved the way that he was pushed forward at the end of the game yesterday. I loved the way Ante was pushed forward to take the acclaim of the fans again yesterday. What a player this boy is. And for me, I think he has to start against Celtic. But who drops out? So much to discuss tonight. Come on the show. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us how you're feeling, because it is so good. And we'll have a wee tribute to our Gothenburg legend Neil Simpson a little bit later, who obviously took the acclaim of the fans before the game. And wasn't it? Oh, it was such an emotional moment. It was just fantastic. So richly deserved to a chap who I'm very, very lucky to call a pal and who I adore. It was just so good. And to the fans project for putting the display on. I tip my hat to every single one of you, and to all the volunteers that went to Pittodrie to set it up. You guys are just phenomenal. You're phenomenal, in my opinion. So much to talk about. Let's go through the usual housekeeping. First of all, the team news. So Jimmy decided to stick with an unchanged side. Duke, first appearance since the final game of last season. The manager said this after the game. What a really great start to the game today. A really nice goal, and then Hearts tested us a little bit. We have these things that don't go exactly as we planned, and the team still stays together. They don't get too stressed. We made some mistakes today. That's football. Football is a game of mistakes. You have to reduce them, but still be brave. He finished off by saying, today is not the right day to analyse the mistakes. Sometimes you have to enjoy these victories when you push so hard. You must celebrate with the fans and enjoy. And enjoy is what we did. So I'll clear the timeline very quickly to make room for all the other stuff that I want to show you tonight. There was a brilliant video going about on social media today of the sort of the last minute catch by Dimitar Mitov, and then a certain Hearts player trying to make himself a little bit busy. So I'm going to have my say on this. Just let me get the other bits and pieces in first, because I do want to have my say. Right, so there's Simi. We'll get Simi in a short while. And just let me get that one in as well. There we go. Okay, so you know the incident I'm talking about. Now, when Hearts scored their second goal, there was a former Aberdeen player who only made 17 appearances for us, 15 of which were as a substitute. He ran past the south stand, making a very immature, how can I put it, gesture. Let's put it that way. Very immature, in front of children. Now, I do not understand, for the life of me, why this chap, all of a sudden, over the past few years, has a problem with us as Aberdeen fans. Because never, in my recollection, did this guy ever get a hard time from us. And when he left the football club to try and further his career, everyone was in agreement that this was the best thing to do, and we all wished him well. I don't recall him ever getting a bad time or a hard time from Aberdeen fans when he came back and played at Pittodrie. So his behaviour, in my humble opinion, is manufactured. He has tried to manufacture a rivalry. He has tried to manufacture him being a good cop, us being the bad cop. And I find it, in all honesty, quite pathetic. And I don't understand it for the life of me. If you want my honest opinion on this, the boy's advisors, his management, and probably more than likely his parents should take him to one side and say, do us a favour, grow up. Because that's what you need to do. Grow up. Because if you did, you would continue to bang in the goals like you did last season. Because if my memory serves me correct, you've not exactly set the heather alight at the beginning of this season. So my humble advice to you is grow up. Because it's not us that had the issue. It was manufactured by you. So, shall we crack on with the show? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to chuck in the match stats for you before we do. There we go. So 55.8% of possession to their 44.2. 11 shots equal across the board, of which both of us got 3 on target. But the duels one was an interesting one for me. So we won the duels overall. We won the battles that counted the most. Even though they achieved more corners than us, over the piece, we won the important battles on the pitch. I have to say, in all honesty, I thought Hearts were great yesterday. I thought they disrupted us. They disrupted our game plan. They counter-attacked when they had to. They exposed us at the back. So when Jack and Nicky got forward, they exposed us by getting the ball down the flanks. And then with the problem for me, and this is where we have to be very careful against Celtic, if Jack and Nicky start bombing up here, there are definite gaps being left. And what's happening is Gavin and Ruby are getting almost split to cover what's going on in this area. And this is where these little annoying individual mistakes are starting to creep in to Gavin and to Ruby's game. And it happened a couple of times yesterday. And the boys just have to be a little bit more aware and a little bit more conscious of this. Because against Celtic, as we know, we will get punished. Because of their press, we will get punished. But overall, I'm not going to complain too much. Because at the end of the day, the victory is what counts. And it's the manner of the victory is what counts. But there are little signs there which are, for me, a touch worrying. But I'm not putting a dampener on it. Right, let's get you on. So Fred McKenzie came on first of all, wishing everybody a good evening. What a game, and the Simi Tifo. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, good evening all. We were not at our best yesterday. Hearts probably the better team, but we got a result and go into the Celtic game level. We've nothing to lose. Just have a go. Colin Gale said, it was great to see the team recover and win 3-2 at the end. However, there were too many mistakes that nearly cost us dearly. We cannot make those mistakes at Parkhead and expect a positive result. George Findlay says, what a game. It was like buying at Pittodrie in 83. Jimmy knows his players. Great subs at the right time. Give a hello to Linda. Hello, Linda. How you doing? Richard Mickey McMillan is on saying, hello, fellow dandies. What a game. We won. Not so good that we need to grind out a few more of these seasons, but keep the season going. Stuart Malcolm says, good evening to everybody. What a game, what a day, what an atmosphere. Love it. Welcome back, Duke. All is forgiven. The musical cat, you know, it's like what I said before. He's talking about the boy Shankland. For me, there does appear to be a chip on his shoulder. Just get rid of it, mate, and just get on with your game. Stop being such a wee boy. John Grant says, what a great result from such a poor performance. We lacked a lot of concentration, and I thought Malloy, Clarkson and Nesbitt were not at their usual level. However, the subs transformed the game. AOI fan says, bit of gossip on Twitter that Jack McKenzie is being called into the Scotland squad to replace Greg Taylor. Yeah, let's see what happens. Richard Mickey McMillan is reminding you all to press the old like button if you're enjoying the show so far. I know we're only 15 minutes in, but if you're enjoying it, give us a wee like. Don't forget to subscribe as well. John Grant says, I noticed twice Hearts were left with a free player to take a short corner. If we give Celtic so much freedom, we're going to be in trouble. Johnny Wilson said, quick question. Do we think the team that finished the game yesterday should start against Celtic? So obviously we've got the international break now, which for once I'm actually glad has come around so that we can just sort of just have a break, gather our thoughts, look back, and obviously start seriously plotting how we can beat Celtic. I do think there'll be changes. I do. Alexander Wallace says sorry mate, you just disappeared for a sec. 1 second. Where did you go? Alexander Wallace says, a very good evening, dandies. It just keeps getting better every week. These guys will not go down without a fight. Well done to all. Kaiser is on saying hello. Barry's on saying hello. Graham Clark says, good evening, Ali. Hope you and the boys enjoyed your weekend in Manchester. We did. We had a brilliant time. Dearie me. Not at our best, but 3 points is all that matters. The red card swung it for us. Scott W says, well, not a great performance, but once more, the team fight and scrap for each other and grind out the win. It's some team spirit that Jimmy's instilled. Graham Clark says, on to Celtic Park in 2 weeks' time. What a game this will be. Shame it isn't on TV. Do you think the timings will be changed so it can be on TV? No, I don't. Gavin Wilson said, love listening to Jimmy's press talk. Humble, saying that they'll enjoy this moment. Then it's back to taking it a game at a time. Focused. Loved Palaversa's celebration. Graham Gibbs says, what a game. Still grinning from ear to ear, he says. Loved it. Musical Box is on saying, hello. Grant Stewart is on. Glad to see Duke got the reception from the fans. Totally slowed up to draw the second yellow from Grant. Set up the winner. Got us the 3 points. And that Mackenzie flick. Have you seen it on socials today? Mackenzie's flick. Oh, wasn't it good? Paul Donaldson is on. What a match. Hearts had a right go at us for most of the game, but at the end looked happy to settle for a 2-2 draw. We kept going and didn't stop until we got the late winner. Sega Saturn Lad is on, as is Neon709, wishing everyone a good evening. Mark Russell says, I hope everybody is well. Really enjoyed being a dandy just now. It's been a long time since Pittodrie was rocking like it did at times yesterday. Come on, you Reds. Kaiser says, if we defend as badly as yesterday, Celtic will put 4 past us. Barry Cool says, what a roller coaster yesterday. The winner on the 80th minute, there was some bounce. Scott W says, as for the Celtic game, we lose than it's expected. Since they're so good and have 6 times our budget, we take anything from it, then it's a bonus as far as I'm concerned. The Mad Ferret is on, wishing everyone a good evening. The weekend's just getting better and better. A lot of you are saying how poor we were in the first half and giving a lot of credit to Hearts, which is good to see. Martin Smith says, keep grinding out the results, but too many mistakes at the back. Need to cut them out, especially against Celtic, but the team keeps going. What more can we hope for? Doug Smith says, great result, but a few players off the pace, so the subs made a difference. Duke, Sokla and Palaversa, especially Duke. Graham Klein says, what a result. Never give up attitude is magic. Looks like Jack McKenzie is joining Nicky Devlin in the Scotland squad. Well deserved, but get that contract signed. David Swinton says, wonderful result, and to me, Palaversa is the best player in the country. Kirsten is on. How are we doing? Good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. What a bounce when that third goal went in yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, a lot of you are talking about, how under par we looked yesterday, particularly for large parts of the game. And that there's a few of you already a little bit concerned about that going into the Celtic game and how we approach the Celtic game. It's very simple. We cannot play like that against Celtic. We'll get an absolute doing. We just can't. Graham Clark says, I must say, I do hope this run continues for as long as possible. However, the way I see it, the 21 points will be massive to where we end up at the end of the season. It's brilliant. So many of you are delighted to see Duke get on and get the reception that he got. Barry Cole says Nicky Devlin was class again yesterday. Wayne Matthews says, good evening, Ali. A bit pedestrian for long spells. Subs made all the big impact. Palaversa streaks ahead and Duke looked back to his best. Good times. Again, a lot of you are talking about, the almost identical goal that Ryan Hedges scored against Hearts a few years ago, which was actually my boy's first game at Pittodrie. We did exactly the same. It was exactly the same manner, same area of the goal, same end, 2-1 down, won it 3-2 late on. Just remarkable, wasn't it? Absolutely remarkable. Graham Findlater says, the fact that a Hearts team playing at their absolute best still could not beat an Aberdeen far from theirs says all about this Aberdeen team's mentality. What a difference to a year ago. Kirsten came back to say, Palaversa is such a classy player and definitely needs to start against Celtic. But who gets dropped? Maybe Nielsen, as he's been off it a wee bit the last 2 games. Okay, now that's interesting because I looked at his match stats, and overall, his match stats are still very, very high and very positive. Yes, there was a few misplaced passes yesterday, but overall, his percentages were way up there. So, I don't think we can drop him. I think he's too important a cog in our machine at the moment. I'm going to be slightly controversial here. I think Duke needs to start because I think he ran ragged yesterday when he came on, and I think he's just chomping at the bit. And I don't think Celtic, now that Taylor might miss this game, Johnston is a unit but not overly quick. I'd be tempted to start Duke. So who do you miss out? It's going to be, there's going to be, oh my, I can see it already. You know, in a few days, I'm going to be tinkering with this team. But Palaversa has got to start because he's going to have to, this is what I think he's going to have to do. And this is why I think he will start possibly ahead of the skipper. Celtic are going to press us. It's obvious that Celtic are going to press us. And what I found nervous a little bit yesterday was when we continued to play the ball out from the back, that at times there was no outlet and that we were giving the ball away cheaply. Now against Celtic, we will get punished. So for us, against Celtic, and this may sound so obvious to you, ball retention is going to be absolutely crucial. And we're going to need 2 players sitting in front of our defence who can command that area, who can take control of the ball and bring other players into play. Because we are so guilty at Parkhead of trying to push out from the back, getting it into that space just before the halfway line, and then losing possession because we don't have an out. So it's going to be vital that we have 2 players in there who can collect the ball, turn on a sixpence, and bring players into play, be it wide or be it forward. Because I think, as what Dortmund did, we have to play through their press. And the reason that I think Palaversa will be better suited is because I think Shinza, as much as he is disciplined, I think his distribution in that area of the pitch might not be as telling as what Antti Palaversa could do. But who am I? Just as I've said it, Gareth Harmon says, Palaversa has to start against Celtic and it's Shinza to be dropped. He looked off it yesterday. Thought it was probably Mitov's worst performance so far, but he came good towards the end of the second half. You see, again, there's another argument to suggest that Jamie McGrath has been off it the past few games, and that possibly he could miss out for a Duke. So you've got Toppy on one side, Duke on the other, or we could even look at a 4-3-3. Could we look at a 4-3-3 instead of a 4-2-3-1? Who knows? You know, at the end of the day, if we want to win this game, we've got to score. Football's a simple game, eh? You can see I've done some insightful football analysis and research tonight. So a lot of you are talking about Neil Simpson and the display before the game. So that it was only right that tonight we also pay homage to our Gothenburg legend.
Celebrating 35 years of service to goals, a local woman who became a Hall of Famer. He's done it all and won it all. Potentially, please show his vision for one and only living dream, Neil Simpson!
Just hold that nice and hard for Neil.
Simpson, a true Aberdeen legend and an absolutely fantastic guy, and delighted to see him get the type of reception that he so richly deserves, and I hope you enjoyed every single second of it. Let's get back to your comments. Kaiser said Mitov was at fault for both goals yesterday. John Kylo says, oh sorry, beg your pardon. Charles Craig has come on. Hi Charles, how are you doing? He says, I can think of a few previous managers who would have put on a centre-back when we equalised. I like the mentality in putting on a forward-thinking player who put pressure on tired opposition defenders. Exactly. John Helmsley's on. Hi John, how are you fella? He says, for the Celtic game, my thoughts are Clarkson on the bench and Palaversa starts in front of Shinnie and Nielsen. Okay. Susan Casey's on. Hi Susan. She says it's nice that we're getting some notice from down south, mentioned on Gary Lineker's podcast and also mentioned on Football Focus on Saturday as well. It's great to be a Dons fan. I think we're the only UEFA club now that's got a 100% win record across all competitions, right? Musical Box says, I would also play Palaversa in front of Graham Shinnie. Christopher Mainland says, great to have Duke back, looked sharp, contributed well to the goal. Still got a way to go to make up for his nonsense though. Jimmy's man management skills on show in the reintegration of Duke back into the team. Musical Box says, Hearts overloaded midfield and it showed at times with them winning a lot of our misdirected passes. John McDermott says Palaversa, Rolls Royce of a player. Martin Smith says, I don't disagree with your analysis. Oh my God. Analysing of the Celtic game. I dropped Clarkson and McGrath for Palaversa and Duke. So many of you talking about Simi. It's brilliant, isn't it? There we go. Right, guys, we have nearly done half an hour, so I'm going to call it a night. So thank you so much for being on. So the plan this week is, because obviously it's the international break, I'm going to try this week to bring you one of those question and answer sessions, quickfire question and answer sessions with an ex-Aberdeen player. And depending what happens at the football club, if there's any sort of big news or breaking news or any significant news, then we'll jump on and we'll do a show. So look out for the quickfire. I'll try and get that out this week. So take good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching as always. I'm delighted that so many of you were on tonight watching the show. And don't forget, as we always say goodbye, looking for a helping hand. Stand free.